Now, the most unrealistic thing about this movie is that the government is actually pretty good at its job. Welcome back, horror fans. I'm Leo, and Bootube Breakdowns is here to save your scary movie night. Right off the bat, Troll Hunter scores a 6.2 out of 10, landing it solidly in our Ghoul Drool category. But here's the thing. I've already had to spend the night in a cave full of hungry trolls just to get you the score, and in a few minutes, I'll show you exactly why this film earned its rating. If you disagree with my score at the end of the video, be sure to let me know how much you want to fight a troll on its bridge while wearing a suit of armor. Then be sure to like, share, and subscribe about it in the comment section. Following reports of poachers in the area killing highly protected bears, Volda University students, Thomas, Joanna, and Kalle, decide to investigate and document the whole thing. Before long, the investigation leads them to confront suspected poacher Hans. At first, he's the mysterious, grisly mountain man who wants to be left alone, but after a few attempts, Hans just outright says, "Nah, the bear carcasses are imported and planted as evidence for the normies. I'm actually hunting trolls." As the movie progresses, more and more of a conspiracy to hide the existence of these dangerous and surprisingly abundant creatures is revealed. Now, the story is fairly well structured, all things considered. Here we have a group of students filming a local story and doing some investigative journalism, and then suddenly the story gets flipped on its head and we're left witnessing this hidden world becoming revealed before our very eyes. The whole thing is treated with a surprising amount of maturity and rawness to it all. Hans is revealed as a man who is doing a poorly paid, thankless job that he constantly puts his life on the line for, and he allows these students to film this massive secret as a way to get back to his employers. There's the reveal of how the government is covering up the whole thing, how a veterinarian is studying the biology of these creatures, and how even the power grid in the country is secretly being used as a way to cage these creatures and prevent them from interacting with humans. It's a rather interesting story that does an excellent job of revealing just enough to keep you invested in the world, but not so much that it loses its novelty. Without a doubt, I would say the story was very entertaining and interesting, and I'll happily give the story quality here a 7 out of 10. The pacing with this one has all the usual tropes of a found footage style, investigative journalism style movie. It's got the shaky cam, the blurs, interrupted cuts, things blocking the camera's point of view and make the shots pointless, and of course, all the fucking green. We have our watching and waiting, boring scenes with fake banter with our characters so we believe that they're all friends, and of course, candid shots where people are arguing with each other. However, I will have to congratulate this movie for being very sparing with these shots, and at the very least, using them as a form of storytelling rather than just to bloat the runtime. The watching and waiting is part of the hunt for these creatures, and the sounds playing in the background help build the tension of incoming danger. The candid shots show a lot more than just character names and occupations, but the relationships that they actually have with each other. And even the fake banter was used to show how characters changed as people when faced with the truth that was hidden from them. The elements that usually kill found footage films for me were actually used very efficiently and never got in the way of the overall story. It's not perfect, but it's one of the best found footage films I've seen, which is why I give the pacing for this one a 7 out of 10. I'll come out and say it. Unfortunately, this movie is not really scary at all. It's an interesting fantasy movie, blended with a government conspiracy, and presented in a found footage format. The trolls themselves were dangerous creatures, sure, but it was honestly just more interesting a world than scary. If you replace the trolls in this movie for wolves and look at it as a found footage documentary about wolves, I think it would have had the same impact. Like, yeah, wolves are dangerous and they can eat people, And yeah, getting caught in the wild by a pack of wolves would be scary, but watching a documentary about someone getting caught in the wild with wolves might not have the same tension, but it can still play off more as a survival action movie than a horror movie. This is how I felt seeing these creatures once all is said and done. Fortunately, no cheap scares, so I'll give the fear factor here a 3 out of 10. Now, this movie was a ton of fun. The movie delivered so much when it came to immersing us in this world. For starters, we learn about troll behavior, different troll species, troll biology, their aging. We learn about their diets. We learn how they love to chew on tires for some reason. This movie goes above and beyond when it comes to making us see trolls as a real thing that happens in this universe. Everything has a point. From seeing Hans get in his armor to extract troll blood, to taking it to the veterinarian, and we learn that there is an outbreak of rabies that is making the trolls act erratic. Also, the CGI is just absolutely beautiful, especially when you consider this relatively tiny $4 million budget. All in all, everything about this movie was interesting and fun. I'm going to give the fun factor here an 8 out of 10. Without getting too in the weeds here, the ending was cliche, abrupt, and only better than most found footage films due to one single joke. The group and Hans basically get into a battle with a mountain troll. They get attacked, the camera goes black, and we get a screen of text saying the usual found footage, "Oh yeah, that's all we found, guys. Help us find the missing people." This totally could have happened. Then they cut to a scene where the Prime Minister, and by the way, it's the real Prime Minister, is giving a speech about the giant power lines that people are protesting. And this absolute fucking Chad just says something along the lines of, "Yeah, you think the power lines are ugly, but I like them because we have trolls and we need more of them." And the government people next to him have their eyes completely wide, like you're not supposed to let them know that. Overall, the ending is nothing special, and if anything, a little disappointing for a movie that is really this good. That joke at the end was the deciding factor for me, so I'll give the ending of this movie a 6 out of 10. So that's Bootube Breakdowns' take on Troll Hunter. Averaging our scores gives this movie a 6.2 out of 10, which places it in our Ghoul Drool category. Do you agree with my rating? Scream your score in the comments and tell me what horror flick I should get next. If this saved your spooky vibes, smash that like, share with your horror crew, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to Bootube Breakdowns for more killer verdicts. Keep it creepy, and I'll haunt you in the next review.